What's up, besties? Welcome to Social Talk Buzz, your go-to for viral vids, real talk, and a little bit of drama. Nelly and Ashanti are back and the drama is real.
She settled for Nelly because there is absolutely no way that she, Nelly, her mama, or whoever else is going to sit there and convince me that sis is actually happy being with him, because you're not in a real marriage, or it seems like a real cohesive partnership where both of y'all are doing work in the relationship. In fact, he barely participates in the relationship. He already ran down the rules and explained to her that when she have that baby, I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. I'm not changing Pampers or anything. This is supposed to be your wife.
Let's just hope he's playing and not serious.
You ain't new to this.
Because if not, Ashanti deserves better.
Your wife
period.
Postpartum, make sure she's well rested and getting her rest, because the baby's already going to be attached to her.
Nelly's out here talking about not wanting to change diapers. That's a red flag dipped in baby formula.
She's breastfeeding, and you can't get up to check on your child or to change diapers? You could tell that she was bothered in her response when she was like, I just think that's like kind of fucking, you could tell she probably wanted to cuss him out. I think that's kind of whack that you could just sit there and sleep through a crying child and not want to get up and get your own son. That's what she should have said. Nelly is a real piece of work. And it's like the audacity, because this girl settled for you. And I feel like in a way it was because of what people were saying that made her say, well, I'm spinning the block. He's familiar. He's a familiar place. So I'm going to just land here, right? Because y'all was talking about her being in her 40s, living her best life and being child-free. Like that was failures for her as a woman. Now it makes all the sense when her sister had put out that like cryptic message about how, I guess, you know, the pressures of societal norms and like trying to fit into society with a husband and a wife and a that cryptic message her sister put out makes sense now, because now you get to see that this relationship is a mess, and I don't think they're going to make it. This is not going to be an everlasting marriage, because Nelly is about to run that girl into the ground. When I tell y'all, give it a year or two, and Ashanti is going to be looking haggard, because sis already look tired and depleted right now. Then the episode about the inauguration, and you get her mother sitting there talking about how her father was heavy in the civil rights movement and how he got back home to their town and was doing all this work. And it was like he just disregarded all that shit and said, fuck it, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it. And you could tell that Ashanti really didn't want to. And she was like, well, you know, it's different from being a girlfriend. I'm a wife now. And as a wife, I would have looked at my husband and said, you must be outside your motherfucking mind if you think you about to get up there and do that motherfucking racist ass inauguration. Bending to social norms and constructs such as needing to be married, needing to be validated by a man so badly, is going to be the death of so many of us. Y'all know that challenge that was just recently going around. It's like every time I think about being in a relationship, I'm reminded of how I looked my last relationship. That's going to be Ashanti. That we are seeing the transformation, y'all. That's going to be, this man is going to drain sis out of all her fucking energy. When we look at how Ashanti was prior to Nelly, badass, baddie, body was tea. Living her best life. Every birthday she said, I spent on an island. My birthdays, I was on an island every birthday. To now, barely making it. Barely being able to get up and get out of bed. Barely wanting to go and do a performance. Just looking tired and ran down. She is in a marriage all by herself. She's married. He isn't. Ashanti is married. Ashanti is married. Nelly is not. She need to divorce that man. Ashanti, please, divorce that man while you can. Get out now.
All up inside of you. And this is the second go around your face the first time. And then he gives you a baby. And then on national TV, he tells you, listen, you holler at me about this kid when he can walk and when he can say he ready to go to the bathroom. And out of the two of you, I think this is maybe his 5th time raising a child. He is the more experienced parent in his 50s. This ain't no young whippersnapper talking about he ain't changing no goddamn me. You're gonna be changing his diapers. Huh? You're gonna be changing his diapers. Did you hear what I said? And he ain't gonna change the baby's diapers. Kids who get brush cuts and get they line on the side like that, I don't like it. That choice alone, I don't like how the discernment shows up. But imagine all that body on top of you, huffing and puffing and blowing your house down. And you want to talk about you ain't changing no diapers for your child, sir? You'll change Trump's diaper. I'm not pleased. I'm not watching that show. These are just the clips I've seen. But that's a nasty game. That's a nasty game. And then you let Ashanti get pregnant. We know how a woman's voice is affected by pregnancy. Ashanti can't lose no range. Let this be the last time you put a baby up inside her, sir. Her voice cannot be going down, baby, on the roller coaster. She don't. Mama has to keep what she has. And I love my sis. I just want to say that. Love her down. That video of her singing Sweet Thing, Forever Leave Me Low. And that Tamar, she'll come in with a review where she was like, is Ashanti singing to where she has to look like that? Nelly, stop playing with my sister. Stop playing with my niece. You was not even all up in her guts. You were at the door of her guts, leaving your seed, and now you don't want to change diapers. Because it's egregious, and I get it. He said I wasn't going to help. I told you when you started. And I understand you can't change people. I hear everything people are saying. I hear it. I promise I hear it. But this is what's gagging me at the end of the day. There's no way the person I love the most, who I've chosen to be my partner. You know, it's just kind of like when you tell somebody, like, I told you not to do that shit. You know, it's kind of like I think about my mom telling me what she wasn't going to do. Or, you know, if you mess this up, I'm not going to fix it. But my mama wasn't going to sit there and look at me struggle and fail and have the power to show up. She not fix it all for me, not take any responsibility from me. But if there was bandwidth and opportunity, like, it wasn't going to happen. And I'm using the parent scenario not because people should be acting as each other's parents in relationships, but it's just an example that I feel like a lot of people can lean into, where your mama going to cuss and scream and tell you what she ain't going to do. Ain't nobody about to give you no ride nowhere, but if you went to go outside and saying you were walking 5 miles to get to work, you was going to get a ride. She was going to cuss and fuss the whole time, but you was going to get a ride. And so as I sit here and kind of receive what folks are sharing, I'm also like, at the end of the day, no matter what you said, the kid is here. At the end of the day, this is the woman, this is your wife, this is your partner. Maybe not 7, but Lord, I said 8. Maybe not 7 days a week you're getting up in the middle of the night, but there ain't one night that you ass up and help. There's not one day. It ain't been one diaper. Again, I have not raised a child from birth. So I have no true exact context of the number of diapers and stuff, but I've bore witness. Are you shitting me right now? That's what's sending me. It's one thing if it was like, hey, you're not doing enough. And then he was like, hey, I told you I wasn't going to do nothing, but I'm showing up how I can show up. But you like, hey, nah, psych, ain't nothing. You got this, mama. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't enough nannies. Ain't enough wet nurses. And again, I think it's the deep part of, I want my partner to help me. Babe, this is the biggest thing I'm carrying right now, being a mother, and you ain't got my back. This, when it matters most, which this is what matters most. This wasn't, I was going to do another album, I'm going on tour. This is, I want this. And most importantly, you know that's what this girl wanted. And you're benefiting, he's 100% benefiting from this marriage in so many ways. It's a rebrand, all these things. And the least you can get up and change some diapers. That's what sit with me. I don't know how I'm gonna shake that. Baby's here now. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? I don't like that. He said he made a vow to me. He said, for better or for worse, help it get better. You understand what I'm saying? And to my sisters, I hope y'all will give me some leeway to discuss this, because I always think about that when I'm discussing topics that I will not be positioned to have to experience. And this shifts in that way of the baby mama conversation. I understand the beauty of marriage. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My parents met in the 9th grade, was married for 27 years when my daddy passed away. I witnessed it. It was lovely. One of my big regrets is that both my parents passed away before I was 27. So I didn't get that grown-up chance to ask your parents the questions you wanted to ask, like, girl, when was it hard? When was the struggle, you know? So I really only know a fairy tale version of my parents together. That being said, I understand the conversations around being a baby mama, but if we are shaming girls into getting into situations where the world already has no real care or grace for single mothers, single black mothers. Because what I've also seen on this app is that a single white mother, y'all, the people will buy her a house and this and the third. So it's single black mothers. They have no grace. They have no real care for them. And then something I had to go and apologize to one of my best friends, Ashley, when she got married. Like, a lot of us pulled back our resources from her. And we were just like, girl, you got a husband. Why are you asking us? And I remember when Christian and I got together, and it's like, he's a great dude. But I was still having to ask Andrew to do certain things for me, or call in Daryl, see if Malcolm can help me put the grill together. And you just realize it's like a man, the way that a man will not have to ask for outside help when he has a good woman is not 100% the opposite when a woman has a good man. And so, like, oh, you're not a baby mama, but like, outside of the title piece, what's there? And I'm just like, what is our responsibility for like creating this framework and this like shame around being a baby mama that pushes young black women in general, to get into these relationships where then we as the world are like, oh my God, you got everything you need. Peace out. God bless you. And it's like, you over there suffering. You don't want to tell nobody that you don't have what you need, because then people won't call you dumb. But at least you got a man, because ain't nobody else got a man. And then you getting older, and then you done had his baby, and ain't nobody gonna want you. Like, all of this, it's like, it's so much mental manipulation and abuse and like, ooh, it's ugly to think about. And you know, wealth and celebrity does not absolve you of it, right? And because I think a part of Ashanti has always been kind of a form of the good girl image, if that makes sense. Yeah, I also would want to know how much healing work she had access to after the stuff with Irv Gotti, because that's kind of nuts. Also, while I'm sitting here thinking about Lee, it's like, you wasn't loud enough when they was out here playing in your wife's face when Irv Gotti passed away. The way you've been cussing people out about people asking about you being the way that you was up there trying to read Kamala Harris, you went out here boomcatting behind your, saying that Ashanti should give honor and respect and disrespect to her and talk bad on her name until he couldn't talk no more. Raising children is hard all over, and that's why I'm just like, I'm so thankful I don't have a uterus. Because it's too tricky. There ain't no choice. There ain't no real, you have no real control in this country. Either you got somewhat like to just have him protected around you, or you got to find a doctor that's going to let you make it, or you just got to sit still.